Hey everybody. Okay, so we are going over today how to set up Claude and your Salesforce so that you don't have to hire people like me, an agency, to build it out for you. There is so many things that you can do yourself now with AI and all these tools that we have that really admin level effort that you should be able to do yourself as a developer and a Salesforce partner. I view different tiers of things that you can do within Salesforce. I deem some of them okay for you to do, okay for an admin to do, and okay for an engineer to do. So what we're going to talk about today is stuff that I think everyone should be able to do. I think that Salesforce, with this new update exposing their MCP, is going to change the game for these low-level tasks. I do want to call out, though, that these mid-level tasks that maybe an engineer should do, architecture, deployment, all of that stuff, is definitely something that you should still involve a consultant for. That is what they're good at. They're good at thinking about the future and how what you build now is going to impact what you have later. So we don't want to skip that step, but stuff like creating a new lead or seeing where your opportunity deal size is or where it's at in the pipeline, those things can easily be done with connecting Claude to Salesforce. Okay, so this is an example of what it could do. I wanted to create a lead. So I said, create a lead for Susie's Cookies. She has talked to me at a trade show. She was interested in our quoting and proposal engine that Freethinkers Consulting has created. And she said that her budget was $50K. She needs to talk to the higher execs, etc. We need to do a deeper dive and schedule a one-on-one to do a discovery. So it created that lead in Salesforce. I'm going to show you in a minute. And then it asks me some clarifying questions because last name is a required field in order to create a lead in Salesforce. So it's saying, what's her last name? Any other information that we should take in? So I said, sorry, I forgot to tell you her last name. I'm so polite to the robots. I said her last name is Susie Hammeroff. Done. Lead is created. Something I do want to call out is that I ended up moving to Haiku 4.5 because I wanted something quick. These are not highly complex tasks. We're not crunching algorithms. We're not doing anything design-wise. So I tend to use the faster models so that I'm not sitting here for a few minutes at a time as it churns. So Susie Hammeroff was created with the ID. And I said, yeah, let's create a task. It said, do you want me to create a follow-up task to go into that discovery call? I said, yes, assign it to me. It assigned it to me, Olivia Porter, and cool, scheduled the due date. So let's go over to the actual Salesforce so we can see Susie Hammeroff in here. We can see new, Susie's Cookies. Some of these things, I didn't quite set it up fully, but for example, lead record type, she wouldn't be considered an implementation partner. So we would change it. We would probably add into Claude to default ask what type of lead record it is. So that's something that I would probably add in as a guardrail. And then, yeah, so it got all of that. And then let's see if we can find any tasks. Yep, we have an upcoming task scheduled, one-on-one discovery call with Susie. So this is very rudimentary, very beginning. There's a lot of guardrails, like I said, that you can add to it and a lot of color that you can add to give you more in-depth back and forth. But this is just a starting point. So let's see if I can pull up how many open opportunities do I currently have? And what's my total pipe? Let's see what this comes up with. So it's thinking, it's querying, it's retrieving. It might ask me to approve. I'm going to get into it in a second, but it might ask me to approve the query. But great, I have 1.8 or 1,088,000. Great, these are obviously all test records and cool. It gave me a breakdown. So this is some of the stuff that it can do. So now I'm going to get into how you connect it. It can take a little bit and it might be a little aggravating at first, but once you watch me do it, you'll realize how simple it is. So what you're going to do first and foremost is in Salesforce, you're going to come over and you're going to log in. And I do want to call out that I highly recommend that you do this in a sandbox. This is our sandbox. I do not recommend connecting this to production. Fundamentally, best practices, you never want to make hard changes in production. You always want to have a dev sandbox, a staging sandbox. You want to do your development changes in dev. you want to push them to stage. Stage should be a replica of production. It should be as close to production as possible. And then once everyone's tested and approved in stage, then you can push to production. So this connector, I personally would never connect to production. At this stage, it is not secure enough. So put it in a sandbox. So this is our sandbox. Also, if you don't know how to do a sandbox or don't know how to spin one up, I can create another video later, but let's just say you know how to create a sandbox. So we have a sandbox, we're logged in. You're gonna come to the cog, you're gonna click setup. And when you come to setup, you're gonna type in MCP servers, which we're already at, but you can just type in MCP. So I already have a connector connected, but we're gonna just walk through this to show you what it looks like from the beginning. We're gonna create Claude 2. This is a second connector. Claude. Great. And as you can see, it created the server URL already, and it's inactive, description, name, etc. Tools and prompts are 0 right now. So we want to, before we activate it, add server assets. I'm going to go over to the MCP server that I created that is for Claude, just so you can see the tools that I turned on. So these are the tools that I added. I can now get related records. I can view recent records. I can query records. I can search across all objects. I can get current user info. I can create a record. I can update a record. I can update related records. I can delete a record. This one is, be careful around there, delete related records. You want to make sure you know who you're giving that access to. You can also read only. You can remove that, add it. If you want to add tools, you can come in here and add some tools, Apex actions, flows, named query. I would recommend just starting with these. And then I haven't added any prompts, but you can definitely create a prompt, so anything to help Claude understand how you want to use the connector between Salesforce. So I won't spend too much more time on this, but the tools are really important because once you connect Claude to Salesforce, you now need to tell it what it can do, what it can and cannot do. So we have our tools, we're going to activate. And I'm moving quickly through this for the sake of time, but we can maybe do another video about what tools we want to include, what prompts typically we want. But for now, we'll stay here. So tools and prompts setup, great. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to create an external app. This external app is going to really be where we create the endpoint and the tokens. This is how we can connect Claude to Salesforce. So let me move this out of the way. So we're going to come in here and we're going to type in external client app manager. Again, go to the cog, go to setup, type in the quick find box, external client app manager, and you're going to create a new external client app. As you can see, I already created one, but you're going to create a new external client app. You're going to name it Claude, contact email, your email, info, everything else you can fill it in if you want, if you don't want, but name, API name, and contact email are required. And then we are going to come down to enable OAuth. We're going to select that. And then we're going to create a callback URL. The callback URL is going to be for desktop. It's going to be different than Claude Code, but we're doing desktop right now. So it's going to be this right here. It's going to be the same for everybody. It's not going to be different for anyone. So Claude.ai API MCP callback. Great. And then we want to make sure that the OAuth scopes are lined up. So we're going to do platform requests at any time and access Salesforce-hosted MCP servers. So we're going to do access Salesforce MCP servers. And then we're going to do platform requests at any time, which I think I missed. Platform. Here we go. Perform requests at any time. Not platform requests. Okay, so then we got perform requests. This all looks good. And once we get that done, you can just save. And I'm going to cancel out of this because we already have one created. But once you save it, it's going to be enabled. And you can see here, Claude MCP client app, Claude MC, my name. I didn't fill any of this out. OAuth settings. And we have in here, once you save it, this is what's going to pop up, your consumer key and secret. So this is super sensitive information. This is pretty high level stuff for non-developers. This stuff is how people can hack you. So you want to make sure that you are being super, super secure with your key and secret. The way that you're showing it to people or passing it around needs to be encrypted or sent very securely. And if for some reason it gets out, then you need to refresh your key and secret to get a new one. Okay, we're not going to open up the key and secret quite yet because I don't want to expose it to you guys. I will probably blur it out, but B, we don't need it right now. But I just want to show you guys that once you create it, this is going to be available, and this is really important for you guys to take a look at. So now we're going to go over to the Claude Desktop app, and you're going to go to Settings, and you're going to go to Customize, and you're going to click Add Custom Connector. I already connected mine, so I'm not going to create a new one, but I'm going to show you just really quick. Salesforce, and then the MCP server URL. This is the URL that you originally created with the MCP servers. So we're going to copy this. We're going to paste it right in there. And then this is where your key is going to go. So you would come in here. Where's my key? Right here. I would click on this, and I'm not going to open it, but you will see when you click on that, it will say key, copy, secret, copy. And you're going to want to copy the key. Don't worry about the secret. The key is going to go right in here. Once you add it, you're now going to have Salesforce look like this. Custom connector, it's going to be connected. And if you don't see any tools, there will be a refresh tools list, and it should pull up all of your tools. Over here is a way for permissioning. This is where maybe hiring someone like us or another SI can come in handy to help you learn like permissioning, security, who should have access to what, who should have read access versus write access. This is pretty important. Right now it's just me, so I'm saying, yes, I'm going to allow myself to do everything. And then once you do that, you are fully connected. You can do something like, if you're unsure, you can do something like, is my Salesforce connected and do I have tools? And it should say, yes, your Salesforce is connected and you do have tools. Great. And then this is what I have access to. And that's it. That's how you connect your Salesforce to your Claude, and you can do natural language updates to your Salesforce. I personally think that this is super cool. I think that this is one of the coolest things Salesforce has opened up in a while. I think it's super cool that they're giving us access and ownership over our Salesforce and really giving the little guys, people who maybe aren't super technical or engineers or people who have a ton of background in Salesforce, they're really giving them the ability to work with Salesforce and more visibility into Salesforce with just natural language by allowing us to connect to Claude. I'm in the camp of this is for sandbox, low-level requests. I'm not in the camp of this being architecture, engineering, or getting this in the hands of somebody who maybe doesn't understand the impact of what that flow or that Apex trigger is going to do. Really, we do need to make sure that we have somebody who architecturally understands the impact of everything before you create it. I also know that this would pair really nicely with our new product. Business and engineering is how our brains work. So we created this tool to walk you through our proprietary methodology of how we stand Salesforce up and customize Salesforce. And our tool, which is called the Clarity Method, would really truly pair well with this. So if you could wire up your Claude into your Salesforce and then follow along in this tutorial of how to properly stand up your Salesforce, I think you would be in an excellent position. This is great for small businesses. This is great for people who don't want to spend $30,000, $40,000 a month on having a vendor set it up for them. Also great for people who just want to learn so that they can take ownership of their Salesforce. So you have an admin or you have a junior person on your team, this is an excellent tool for them to be able to walk through it themselves, and it will for sure secure your Salesforce. So you're not worrying about later down the line, did we set this up correctly? It's at start.freethinkersconsulting.com. I will add it in the description, but I think that connecting your Claude to your Salesforce, pairing with a really great tool to help you walk through how to do it properly, you're going to be off to the races. So for now, I hope you enjoy. If you want to see other videos, other examples of what else you can do, write a comment, shoot me a message. I'm probably going to do another video on Claude Code for my devs and my engineers on how to stand that up really quickly. I hope you enjoy.